Stretching. Most of you are not stretching as much as you should be. In fact, you are not stretching as often as you should. I know this because it happens to me a lot. Welcome to class. I am your teacher, Brooksy. And today we're talking about stretching and the importance of it. And why you're not doing it as much as you should be. And how much more gains you can be making. When it comes to working out, not just bodyweight workouts, but working out in general, stretching is often overlooked. It's part of warming up. Everyone knows you have to warm up before working out, of course. And the reason that is to get the blood flowing from the heart. Little valve, right? From the heart. So that's what you need to do when you warm up. Now, the thing is about stretching is that when it comes to calisthenics especially, your flexibility really does help you because it really improves your range of motion. Now, there is the typical term thrown around where a lot of bodybuilders and weightlifters are stiff, whereas calisthenics are nimble and light. Now, it can be true, but it will not be true unless you are stretching your appendages and increasing your range of motion. Because the thing is, there's a certain path that a weightlifter goes when they lift a weight, or they're doing a barbell curl or a dumbbell curl. They're not really moving their body as much. We, as calisthenics athletes, need to contort and twist our body into different positions. Now, of course, everyone can take yoga, but it's much more important here, where most of your body weight will be in your leg when doing a pistol squat. So you need to be able to do that. And also, more importantly, things like core compression. Toe touches are amazing with it. Or just sitting down and stretching your hamstrings. Your hamstrings are part of your anterior chain. And because of the nature of calisthenics, you use a lot of workouts when you do calisthenics, use most of your body, or a good portion of it. I'd say about 60 to 70% of your muscles. So you're not just using one muscle. Like pull-ups are multiple muscle groups are activated at a time. So that's why it is really important to stretch and be flexible. Now, like I said, for doing things like core compression, your hamstrings are part of your anterior chain. And for ability like core compression, like I've said in previous videos, is engaging your posterior anterior chain. That's why you really need those stretched. Now, of course, again, like I said, it applies to bodybuilders, but the calisthenics athletes, it's much good. Stretching, the thing is, the reason why I don't think you're stretching enough is because I have had times before where I would be working out, or I would get up in the morning and not really feel like going out on a run, not really feel like doing my cardio. And that is because the blood is not flowing yet. Now, I suppose you could say, oh well, doing some jumping jacks and things will help. Yes, but when it comes to doing strenuous movements, you're going to be contorting your body. Stretching is way better because of the reasons I just listed, where you need to be able to move and be more flexible. You should be doing your stretches first thing in the morning. Your muscles are much more improved. I've had so many times where I didn't feel like working out, and I would then stretch. And it's almost as if I had more energy, because blood, not only A, is blood flowing, but B, the workout went much better, because my limbs could have a greater range of motion. So, for instance, with my kicks, I noticed I could kick higher after I stretch. And that may seem obvious, but again, a lot of people are neglecting this, and you're leaving a lot of gains on the table by not having that. So, that is a large reason why you need to be stretching. I would say almost every day. Now, you can have flexibility days or yoga days if you take yoga class, and some people say they don't have time for it. I would say ideally, in ideal society, you should be stretching every day, so that way you're at your max potential when you do perform, or when you do some of these more strenuous workouts. For instance, moves like the L-sit. I have a much easier time doing the L-sit when I've actually stretched that day. There are quite a few stretches we can go over that I can explain. So I would say some of the key ones are, so to be able to do because you do not want to cramp up while working out. But more importantly, you want greater range of motion, which will give you more options. It's like, you stretching your body is give yourself more options. So it really is just, it's almost like a power up, let's say. So, socially, when it comes to talking to people, if you've been in a social setting, I'm pretty sure you've heard the argument. You need to socially warm up. So, you've heard people say, if you see a girl that you like at a party, well then, talk to other people. You know, socially warm up when you get to the party before you talk to the person you really want to talk to, the girl. That is giving it a good stretch. You know, it's like stretching your legs. You know, it's like when people, before they shoot a needle, when they go and the stuff falls out of it. It's like that. It's like warming up. Now, some of the stretches, most important ones, I think should be done every day, is toe touches. Toe touches are, you need to be standing up or sitting down. You really want to get your head to be able to touch the top of your knees. Now, with all these stretches, I will say, stretches should be progressive. So in the same way that you have done 20 push-ups and you go to 25, you should be progressing your stretches, which means it's gonna have to hurt every single time you do it. It's just like lifting weights. It's just, you are progressing this time, how far you can stretch your body and really make it like push yourself. Next is the butterfly stretch. Now the butterfly stretch is really working your leg mobility and your thighs. We're trying to get the back of your heels to almost touch in between your legs, like your pelvis around that area. That's what you're doing there for the butterfly stretch. Now, if it is difficult, while you try to get your feet together, your legs, so they are going to be off the ground. So if this is you, then you want your legs like this. This is your foot. This is your foot. You want your legs like this to touch. But you want to bring them backwards. And if you need to, use your hands. Go right here. And sort of force your knees downwards to touch the ground. Now, this one's very difficult. Extremely difficult, but it has great returns. The hamstring stretches, big difference between toe touches. Hamstring stretches are usually with one leg, just one leg. With the other one sort of tucked in, or you can have it, if that's too easy for you, have your other leg out and sort of push your torso forward, like that to grab. Lunge stretch. Now lunge stretch is very simple. You just gotta get the lunge position, so stretch like that. Now you really want to feel the stretch is going to be in your thighs, so like the back of your thigh, and you should really feel the stretch on this leg right here, their back leg. You should really feel the stretch on your front leg if you're stretching your hamstrings with lunges. So that's going to be it for that. And then obviously easily arm stretch. It's very simple. You can go like this and sort of pull this arm towards your body while this arm is sort of out. That's what you do for that. To get your arms really moving, you know, you can kind of go back and forth like this. You just sort of play around, you know, and do arm circles. All those are great stretches for arms to really open up your shoulder mobility. Like I said, those depend very heavily on your range of motion. Of course, you need to stretch for overhand. Like this is working your shoulders. If you have 2 dumbbells, you go like this over your head, of course, like dumbbell, like rows, flies. That's going to work your shoulders. But if you're doing calisthenics, you need this much more because the motions you're going into, like a handstand or an L sit, the weight is literally being put on your shoulders. You're not lifting the weight with your shoulders, right? That's the key difference. So, conclusion, stretch more. Stretch every day, all right? Stay flashy.